Now I want to give a shout out to a certain someone who's probably one of my favorite YouTubers. Then you guys will be very confused if you look him up and wonder like, why is he your favorite? I got into him because of his conspiracy theory debunking videos. His name's Madman. You guys should definitely check him out. He's a huge metalhead. And in one of his videos he talked about how he thought Diary of a Madman was Ozzy's masterpiece album and the song was epic. And he really got me into this album. I have to agree. I pretty much love every song on here. But I actually heard a song from this before I was even told about this album, known as Believer. Which, if you know about this album, you'll think, what? You got into Believer first. But on the soundtrack of the game Brutal Legend, they had this song. That's how I got into that song and somewhat the album. I thought the song was very slow-paced and epic. But enough of that. This album came out in 1981. They pretty much were going on a roller coaster of success, building off like the epic track Crazy Train, and the epic album of Blizzard of Oz was really boosted them to success immediately. So they had to follow it up with a really great album. Now I will say Blizzard of Oz maybe had some more better and classic songs, but this album is way more well-rounded. There is not a weak song on here. I believe it had the exact same lineup, but there was a lot of problems with Sharon Osbourne, especially Sharon Osbourne really started to give everyone problems, especially during this album, because, well, afterwards she replaced the bass and drum tracks, but then on the credits it gives someone else credits, then was supposed to be given, like they went on the tour with someone else instead of Bob Daisley and Lee Kierslick. It's all a gigantic mess. And apparently Randy Rhoads, before he died, because, you know, everyone knows after this album he got in a horrible plane wreck that I think Ozzy was supposed to be in. But apparently he was actually gonna leave Ozzy after this album because he was getting sick of Sharon and everyone and Ozzy. He was just gonna take a break and learn some more classical stuff and come back. I really wish he lived, but what I wish the most in this hypothetical world is that I wish he got the next guitarist, Jakey Lee, which will be in the next two albums, and Randy Rhoads at the exact same time and get a twin guitar attack sort of thing like Iron Maiden and Judas Priest. Now that'd be the definitive twin guitar attack, because those two, they're fucking legends. The artwork is pretty cool. Forgot to talk about the artwork for Blizzard of Oz. That one he's looking crazy, and this one he's also looking very crazy. He pretty much looks pretty crazy on every album cover he's on. And this one he's literally batshit insane. He's in some sort of like cluttered room and he looks fucking like completely deranged. And apparently his son's supposed to be in there somewhere. So let's get into the songs. One of my absolute favorites, and I even learned this song in its entirety. And boy oh boy is this an intricate and incredibly well written song. Over the Mountain is fucking awesome. It kicks in with this amazing drum solo from Lee Kierslick. It goes right into this heavy as hell riff that's pretty original. And Ozzy's vocals and lyrics are probably written by Bob Daisley are incredibly kick-ass in this song. They're very, very cutthroat and hard-hitting. The chorus is a little bit weaker than the verse, but it's still a cool chorus. I like the way that the melody flows through the riff. And I love the way Ozzy says "show them how" at the very end of the chorus. It sounds very badass. And there was almost like two middle bridges of the song right before they hit the solo. It had this like sort of soft part, and then it goes into the really awesome, somewhat galloping riff. And there's like some synthesizers and shit in there too, which makes it really cool. Then we get into the badass guitar solo, and let me tell you, this one is not easy. There's a lot of crazy shit in there, and apparently Matthew's guitar, which you guys should check out, told me that apparently instead of doing the whammy bar on some of the parts, he actually like turned the guitar upside down and pulled the strings down, which is really weird. I've never seen anyone write a solo that has so much flow to it and then not a single note sounds off from the sequence. It really sounds perfect. There's a lot of changes, subtle changes that you probably wouldn't notice unless you learn the song in this song. So it just shows how incredibly intricate Randy Rhoads' writing was. This song gets a 5 out of 5, a perfect Ozzy song, one of my absolute favorites. Then we get to one of the weaker songs off the album in my opinion, Flying High Again. This one's a pretty cool song, but I don't like the way it starts. The verse sounds a little too underdeveloped. It's a cool rockin' song, I guess. But I really do like the part when it changes the verse a little bit. Maybe it's like a bridge or something, like the "I've been a bad, bad boy." I like that part. And then the chorus is really kick-ass. It's very dark and melodic, and it feels completely different than the rest of the verse. There's a lot of things I do love in this song, and some things I don't like. However, I absolutely love the guitar solo that Randy does in this song. It's really the icing on the cake. Every solo he ever does is perfect. This song, I guess, is about being addicted to drugs. Pretty appropriate for the time for Ozzy. This song gets a 4.25 out of 5. Then we get to a pretty underrated song known as You Can't Kill Rock and Roll. It's somewhat of an epic-y ballad thing. I love the melodies that flow through it, and the melodic guitars are great. And I love the heavier parts, which are the chorus. However, I don't like the way Ozzy whines through it. But the part where he says, you can't kill rock and roll, it always stays. I love that part. It sounds really melodic and returns to that great verse. And the lyrics are really cool, too. You'd think with a song title like that, there'd be a very generic song. But it's really well written. There's a great, lengthy guitar solo there. The song's very long because it pretty much takes its time the entire time. Like, the verses are pretty long, and the chorus is pretty long, and it's still well written. It doesn't drag on, really. So I give this one a 4.75 out of 5. Then we get to one of my absolute favorites, and I talked about this one earlier, Believer. This song is fucking awesome. It starts with a bass part, and I believe from the way it sounds like Bob Daisley had to do with a lot of the writing of this song, because it just has such a driving rhythm. But I could see also where Randy Rhoads would write, because the guitar riff is just so much more badass than the bass riff. And I love the fucking verse, the intricacy with the vocal melodies and guitar melodies. Just spider web together. It's so well written. And I love like the creepy ass like synthesizer notes that they have in there. It really makes the atmosphere of the song very strong. I love the middle section of the song where it slows down a little bit, where Ozzy sings these like very depressing notes. And that awesome guitar part where it has like the synthesizers kick in. Really cool, and the solo is absolute perfection. 5 out of 5. Then we have what's considered the filler song, which is sort of akin to maybe Nobo Movies on Blizzard of Oz. But let me tell you, this song is no fucking Nobo Movies. This song is very, very good, and it's not even the weakest song off the album, in my opinion. It's really well written. It also has kind of a slow groove to it. And even though the title's really stupid, it's really cool. It's about like voodoo dolls and stuff. And every single part of it's cool. I love the verse. It's very catchy. The bridge is really nice. And I love the chorus. The intricacy from Lee Kerslak's drums are very, very cool. And the guitar solo in there is pretty damn kick-ass. I give this one a 4.5 out of 5. Then we have Tonight, which is the ballad. I always argue with myself what I like more, Goodbye Romance or Tonight. But after much debate, I think I do like Goodbye Romance a little bit more. It's a little more classic. But this one is very, very, very close. It's also a very good Ozzy ballad. This one's probably more catchy and more poppy sounding than the last one, which was just more melodic and stuff. This one, however, is a lot more upbeat and a lot more powerful. And I love the fucking chorus to this one. However, the verse is probably not as strong as Goodbye Romances, and the lyrics aren't as powerful. But damn, oh damn, is this a great song. 4.75 out of 5. Then we get to Sado, which some people thought maybe meant sadomasochism, but however, this stands for Sharon, I believe. I think it has to do with Sharon's initials. And then Bob Daisley claims it's something else. It's all confusing. This song's heavy as fuck. It's absolute hard-kicking metal track. And I love the riffs Randy came up with, and the driving rhythm is insane. The only thing I have a bit of a gripe with is the way Ozzy sings some of the first notes. They sound a little too whiny. So I love the chorus. It sounds very fucking dark, and it sounds like Ozzy had to like strain to hit some of those notes. And the guitar solo's awesome as hell too. It's really a fucking awesome track. It reminds me of Steal Away the Night. This one's a 5 out of 5. Then we get to the centerpiece of the album, the absolute master track from Ozzy. Probably one of the best metal tracks ever. I do think it's slightly better than Mr. Crowley for the way it's written. Ozzy said they got the intro riff, which was apparently ripped off, and there was a lawsuit for it, but Randy was actually playing some like classical bits from one composer, and Ozzy heard that. He said, dude, we gotta put that in the song, man. No, dude, that's used by some classical artists. Like, no, we gotta use it. So They used the exact intro, except he changed it up a little bit and actually made it sound better. And I love the fucking, like, intricacy with it. Each change in the acoustic melody sounds really great. And that main riff is so badass, especially when the electric guitars kick in. Now, what also shines a lot in the song is the lyrics. The lyrics are very, very well written. I'm pretty sure that Bob Daisley wrote these lyrics because there's no way Ozzy could have come up with something this smart. The lyrics are so well written that it perfectly captures insanity. Kind of like how the movie Apocalypse Now perfectly captures Vietnam. It sounds very offbeat too in the verses. And to make it even more believable about like complete madness, they do have like the vocal melodies rail off the rhythm every once in a while. It's really interesting. And I love the chorus. It sounds very, very melodic and dark. And then we get to the middle section sort of where it slows down. It builds up with the drums and the awesome synthesizer notes. And I believe there's even a choir in there too. I think that's where the lyrics shine the most in the song because it feels like Ozzy's almost crying as he's reading them. It's like all these lyrics about like someone's in my head and stuff and schizophrenia and all this shit. It perfectly recreates that. And then it finally kicks in with the heavy-ass riffs, the guitar solo that goes right into like the melodic, slower verse section. It's really cool, and I love the dark guitar solo, especially the end part, that like ascending thing. Really cool. And I love the end of the song where Ozzy does that one note, and then he's like, oh! When they have the choir kick in that hum the guitar melody, it's really fucking cool, guys. You have to hear this one. This song is a 5 out of 5. A bona fide awesome Ozzy song. I give this incredible masterpiece of metal a 9.7 out of 10.